Can you tell us what happened that day?
क्यों क्या हुआ था उस दिन?
So, आप senior advocate बने थे. 2021, the oxygen crisis that we were facing.
Oh, that's scary. I mean, I've heard of stories of, the Solicitor General staying up all night. I know the judges keeping track of, oxygen, this, that. Little bits of information coming in through various channels. I mean, people have accused the court of crossing the line in terms of deciding which course of medication to adopt. But I think they forced the government and ICMR to say, at least make up your mind, tell the people what is needed. I think the kind of satisfaction we got doing COVID, I don't think anything beats that.
You as a lawyer, I know you've done service matters, you've done matrimonial matters, you've done competition matters, if I've already said. You do a lot of commercial matters, and you've done consti here and there, some land matters. I mean, I have some understanding. Do you feel that is there some subject that you can't do, or this has been your ability, perhaps in law school, of being able to do and traverse across so many variety of disciplines?
Tax.
I'm
taxed by the thought of tax.
Luckily, tax I can do.
Tax I can't do. Customs and excise, I mean, I've done the odd thing. The other day, I was arguing a service tax matter, and I literally had to break it into a constitutional law point because I had Mr. Lakshmi Konan sitting at the back, and I was really petrified, saying, if I make an ass of myself, I don't know what he'll think of me. But no, and frankly, I mean, like I said, I was telling you, like Sapna and I don't have a thing for numbers or money. And I think tax in my head is a reflection of that. I mean, it's an important component of our lives. I have no idea. And it just doesn't excite me. So it's that branch of law which, and the funny thing is, again, how Kismat works. One of my best decisions is a judgment called Shabina Abraham versus in the Supreme Court. I'm forgetting whether, I mean, it was Excise, but I think Commissioner of Central Excise or whatever. Justice Nariman and Justice Sikri, where Justice Nariman pays me a compliment. Excise, right? So Mr. X owes the excise money, he passes away, and the excise wants to recover it from his estate. Now my former colleague Atul reaches out and says, will you do this? And I very happily say, हाँ मैं कर दूंगा. Only to realize ये तो excise का काम है. But then, because it was excise, we sat up, we tried to look at stuff. And I realized that there was a lacuna in the law. Right? So the Income Tax Act had been amended to allow for the estate to be proceeded after the assessee had passed, whereas the Excise Act had not. So I was pushing that point, and I think Justice Sikri was giving me a bit of a hard time, and I managed to then persuade the bench. So we got a great judgment. The court held that demand was bad. You know what happens? It turns out that this lady was Liz Matthews' childhood buddy, and their entire family's hopes or whatever was pinned on that one case. And I was like, yaar, kahan, kisko pata, kya kismat? So Liz says, this is my friend. And I'm like, acha, dekho, where me? I don't do excise. Maybe the universe meant that I had to do that thing. And Justice Nariman, said I argued with great clarity and persuasion or something. And that line was the line I shamelessly put out in my senior applications. I managed to persuade Mr. Nariman himself types. Wow. But so there. So tax, but I think I enjoy. Okay, so I've said this too often. That I don't love the law. I love the practice of it. Okay, I don't like reading. I mean, I have nothing else to do. I will not read a judgment. It's not me. It won't filter. I mean, I just won't be able to get it. Ask me to read a judgment in the context of a particular proposition. I'd love doing it, because then it's me breaking it down. It's challenging me, etc.
It's a process of it. Process of analyzing it.
So what I found is, and I get, like my wife says, I have a really short attention span. So when I don't have to do the same subject and I have to do multiple subjects, it keeps me engaged. I've also found that it helps me cross-pollinate. I use examples from A to B to explain C, right? And more importantly, I think it challenges you as a lawyer. So this is a conversation that is, often had with me now, saying, when are you shifting to the Supreme Court? And I'm like, no, why? I mean, jab hoga. I mean, it's, jab zindagi kahegi tab, I've always worked that the universe helps me decide, and kahin na kahin, one day it'll happen seamlessly, I'm presuming, or it may not happen, I don't know. Right? But I love what I do in the High Court.
But do you want to?
I choose my work. The Supreme Court is, of course, I mean, where everybody wants to end up. But again, I see so many greats who've not been there, and they're equally happy. I think what I've learned over the years, right, is if you're fundamentally not happy with what you're doing, then what's the point? So I'm very happy. I'm in a happy space. I do the kind of work I want to do. I do it in a court that is really responsible for me being me.
I think it's one of the. It's not.
It is.
I mean, the best.
Yeah. If not, I mean,
with the bias also.
I'm not even going there. I'm saying it is a court that has welcomed me. I was an outsider with open arms. It has made me one of its own. Why would I do it the disservice of going away? It is my job to give back whatever I can. At some point, I think, it'll happen. I mean, all the greats have gone from here and have contributed in their own way. I am so far removed that zindagi padi hai. And, but the reason I was flagging that was because I remember Mr. Chandar Uday Singh telling me this. He says, you should come here more. And he said, I'll tell you why. Because you will wake up, you will get a brief at 8 p.m. at night. It will be dealing with the UP Fisheries Act. Right? Tomorrow morning, you will get a brief that deals with the Rayotwari Act of something. Third day, it will be some Bombay Rent Control something. These are all stuff that you're not doing every day. Right? It challenges you as a lawyer. It takes you back to your fundamentals. How do you interpret the law? How do you interpret the word? And it makes you foray into territories that are way, way beyond your comfort zone. Comfort zone to yahan pe hai. This is yahan pe, you are here. Right? You are literally at no man's land. And that's where your skill as a lawyer gets honed. So, and I see that point, and I've kept that in, at the back of my head. And when I do make that shift, I intend to walk up to him and say, sir, thank you. Bahut logon ne kaha tha, but I remember this conversation that you and I had many years ago. And I'm here now where I think that I'm ready to take that plunge. Because he said that. He says, one day I just packed my bags and I just moved to Delhi. I've done that in many cases. I've just decided I will no longer go to this fora, and I've stopped going there because I felt I was getting too comfortable. I feel I'm still not that comfortable in the High Court. I still feel I get challenged. I walk into many courtrooms there and I'm like, oh my God, I really need to step up my game. I look at so many of my peers, in fact, the younger ones today, and I look at them and say, my God, they know so much more and they do it so much better. So, why not?
Speaking about skill sets, sir, what do you think are the main skill sets that carry you as a lawyer really well in execution or before a judge?
So I think, okay, so I don't know, I mean, it's very difficult to say what are my skill sets. I believe I'm good on my feet. Okay.
Of course.
I work hard. I keep telling myself I don't work hard enough, particularly relative to what I used to do earlier, but then I wouldn't sleep then. I try and sleep now. I think I can read a court reasonably well. I mean, I think I can read a court much better than a lot of people that I know around. And I think I know what my client wants, and I feel I have the ability to communicate it in a manner that appeals to a judge, and also more often than not makes my opponent understand that I'm not here to pick a fight. I'm here to make a point.
So I want to get into your mind on the preparation process, because everybody knows that a lawyer is as good as his preparation in some sense, and experience, of course. What is your preparation style like in terms of...
Chaotic. I think ask my juniors and more often than not, I think they want to throw something at me. I'm that petulant child who, is just on his own trip, and each one is trying to persuade me to look at papers and or look at something, and I'm like, nahi, karenge, aaram se, dekh lenge. And then I look at it in my own way, and they're like, do you have a plan? And I still don't, more often than not. And I wish, and that's something that I'm seriously working at. I think it's, as my kids say, this is an ADHD brain at work, but I find that it helps me, when I don't have to plan a 1 + 1 = 2 plus whatever is equal to whatever, I find that it's easier for me to work with a court. I don't get nonplussed by a question that is out of syllabus. I'm happy to deal with And that's something that from my mooting days, I would always start by saying, do you have any questions? Or so anything comes, I'm okay to deal with it. The other is, I think I spend a lot of time talking in conferences, or rather listening, allowing my clients and my solicitors to talk in conferences. So I get a lot of what I need in that process. And that's something that I've seen a lot of my, the greats that I've mentioned do early up. And there are contrasting styles. I mean, Mr. Nariman would make sure you give him what he wants. Dr. Singhvi will make sure you give him what he wants. Mr. Andhyarajuna would probably not talk as much, but Dr. Dhawan would make us he would literally tell us, talk to us, engage with us. Mr. Desai would have a long chat. Mr. Salve also. Mr. Salve I used to be petrified of. So, when we used to brief him. Mr. Jaitley also again.
Yeah.
I saw Mr. Jaitley when I was very young, and I think very little while he was in practice, because after that he kind of moved to the political side. But the little that I saw and I have heard a lot about how he has dealt with stuff from Indu ma'am. And I think a lot of it is really that.
Any habit that you remember picking up from them, that for preparing a matter or for maybe preparing your arguments before court, that you still
Mr. Nariman, just keep list of dates. Keep refining that list of dates.
In what sense? Like?
Mr. Nariman, every matter that he went in, he had a list of dates. And he would first get you to get him a list of dates, or he would have dictated one. He would keep refining it till he entered the courtroom. So he's constantly, in his mind, I think he's seeing this entire story play out. Every time he's refined that list of dates, something else is popping up. Right? And that chronology, as, our famous chronology ko samajhiye wala line, I think there's a lot of merit in that as a litigator. That is one. Mr. Subramaniam, he would just allow the client to talk. And he would, prod, ask the odd question. And he would get exactly what he wanted. Right? So that the prep is also about, ultimately it's a client. He or she wants to talk. Today we have a situation where, and I'm also guilty of that on occasion when I'm running short of time, I'm like, all right. But I've realized that I think that is the definitive thing about this profession is about, it's about people. And that person is before you because he or she has a problem. If he or she can't articulate that problem to you and explain it to you, how are you going to explain that? And that's where my point of being empathetic as a lawyer comes from. Unless you step into your client's shoes, don't become the client, right? Step into his shoes or her shoes. How do you understand their pain and how do you articulate it? And I think so there are days when I feel if I'm not persuaded, I'm not convinced, I don't think I can convince a court as well as I should be. There's that skill of not believing in a case and being able to argue it as if it's the last thing that's going to happen in the world. I'm still struggling to cultivate that.
Have you always had the gift of the gab? Like, did you have to train or maybe
I think
look at the way?
I believe I did. I was good at debates, but I think I've worked on it. Yeah, it's something that like I said, I've had the good fortune of being around enough people who are very, very gifted. And I have over the years just quietly picked up a few things, and I've tried to kind of add it to my own little repertoire and made it my own style. So like I keep telling people, don't copy anybody, be yourself. Is the best place to be.
Emulate them at best.
Yeah. And take what's good. There's always scope for improvement. Always.
You are, I think I can say it hand on heart, one of the very few people in Delhi as a lawyer who's loved by his juniors, including me sitting here. Did you always have that compassion for your juniors, or is it because of your journey that you came through? Because why I'm saying I have not met anyone, and I think touch wood I'm going to say that, who will not say thank you alongside your name whenever either they've worked with you, either they've interacted with you, or you've just touched their lives.
Okay, so that's me, I think, but that's me because that's what my folks are. So I think I am the way I am because of my parents. I am largely a reflection of my dad in how I deal with people. And a lot of it is also, I think, about how Indu ma'am and Mr. Subramaniam treated me. So if you're treated well, I think you realize that that's the only way to treat people. Right? So for me, that was easy. And I think, of course, also your learning is I've seen people do things which I said I will never allow it to be done to me or to somebody else, or something that's been done to me, I said I will never repeat that. So I think that's that. I mean, fundamentally, I mean, I don't think I'm doing anything special. We have a lot of fun. I mean, I lose my shirt all the time. My colleagues will tell you that. I can be difficult. I can be exasperating. But fundamentally, I think they know that I love them, and they are family. I think I spend so much time with them that
totally.
They all understand that they're special. I mean, I have very special bonds with some. I have good bonds with some. But that's the beauty of human relationships, right? You can't be best friends with everybody. Yeah, but at the end of the day, these are the people who define me. I mean, I am who I am because of them.
Today, a lot of people I speak to, they, it's like they feel that the world for senior counsels has opened up because there are a lot many nominations and designations happening. What would you say to someone who aspires to be a senior advocate, like a future senior advocate? These are, let's say, the 5-6 things you should keep in mind. Anything that comes to...
Oh yeah. Be ready to be really responsible. Don't become a senior counsel because it's about the aura, the money. I think it's about being different and being able to set standards. Like I said, I struggle every day. I'm telling you as a matter of fact, I struggle every day.
Is that what you feel personally? Sorry, I'm coming in. But, or you also sense like other senior counsels who aspire also ask this?
No, I think a lot of my friends are asking that question, and I think especially because I think we're in a system which is already struggling, right? So our job is to add value. Our job is to make things easier. Our job is to do the right thing. Our job is to assist in a manner which is different from what the others are. And like I said, I mean, we're all guilty of running from court to court, doing your thing and running. It's not satisfying. There are times when there is great satisfaction, but I think there is more to, like I said, a senior counsel than just being the guy who drives a flashy car or, is looking at billables. Right? Yeah. So that's why beyond billables. But I think if you're aspiring to be a senior counsel.
So be responsible, you said.
Oh, absolutely. I think you have to, what should I say? Read the law. I mean, I don't think I read it enough. Read the law like nobody else. I think Mr. Dwarkadas has a podcast, he was giving a lecture where he talks about
the Bombay High Court bar.
But the one where he says, he was referring to I think Mr. Parikh, senior counsel, who he says knew the law so well that, he would settle a draft by looking at prayers, cause of action and parties. And he would say, with these 3 things, you could make all the connections you want. And he would be, willing to put his pen to say, settled by. So, the law so well that you don't have to worry about the facts. You can always deal with the facts accordingly. I mean, it's a very tall order in today's day where there is so much law coming out every day. But the other skills are what? I mean, the skills, you should be able to draft good written submissions. I think senior counsel should draft their own written submissions.
You feel that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're not supposed to draft otherwise, right? I can't draft pleadings, but surely I should be doing my own written submissions. I mean, that's something that I'm trying to do of late, and at least trying to do it a lot more in-house. And I'm forcing my colleagues to at least give me first cuts, etc., etc. Because otherwise,
that brings the clarity. That brings your touch to the matter.
Absolutely.
So that's number 3.
Number 4 is I had a whole bunch of things listed when I was thinking about it, but let me see. I mean, can I just look at that? Just give me that.
Yes.
I had it jotted somewhere. This was something that I was ruminating on when I was coming in.
And do tell me, between the plan and the reality, how much of the difference?
Oh yeah. So first thing, see, I forgot. This is the problem. Time management. Okay. Work-life balance. The ability to read, how to use technology, and to cross-pollinate. So time management, I think, is the biggest skill that you need to gather as a senior counsel.
Cross-pollinate, obviously, you're doing it really well.
Time management, I think I don't. I'm just like, chalo, jo chalte raho. I look at Dr. Singhvi and I marvel. I think he probably has 48 hours in a day, and I wish someday I want to be half as efficient as that man. And I think I would have done a lot then. But the other thing, that work-life balance, I think that's the one thing that I think.
So, but what is work-life balance? Because we've heard, tall leaders of the country say things like 70, 80, 90 hours a week.
No, I'm not on that. I think work-life balance is basically you have to have the ability to switch out and make time for life.
Whether it's
there is
5
always
minutes
work
or 50
yeah
minutes.
there is always work. So I think I've learned that over the years, and I've gone public to say this, and I'll say it again, thanks to Mr. Neeraj Keshan call, that I learned how to take vacations, right? And for me, my vacations are sacrosanct. So unless it's something that I cannot get out of and a court is being difficult, I will never work on vacation. I will just switch off. It doesn't matter. No amount of money is worth that time. And for me, that was the time I got with my children. You asked me what sacrifices, they didn't have me around. So the only time they knew I was dedicated to them was the holidays. And if I can't do that, then what? Now, of course, I mean, they complain that time is distracted, but I mean, divided between that and Netflix. So, and Netflix get priority, but that is downtime.
So, at least you're there.
Yeah, but I'm around. I mean, again, like I said, that's me, and I'm not really being fair to them, but I think you have to be able to tell yourself, and that's why my increasing focus on my mobile camera photography of late. I think I've realized that I need to.
Yeah,
be able
I remember
to switch
seeing
off.
a lot of good pictures in your office.
So I need to just switch off, and even if it means I have to stop between two matters and do something. So I've literally running between courts. I see a shadow and I stop. I take a picture and I go. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Life will. It's not the end of the world.
So cross-pollination, time management, and I think over a period of time you develop more skills. You've developed the art of reading the bench really well.
Yeah. I think if you don't, then I see a lot of them. I mean, like that's the one skill that you must have. What works? Okay, so again, like I said, I've been watching a lot of Mr. Dwarkadas, and I in fact intend to write to him saying thank you, because I think all of us at various stages need somebody to look up to, and the stories and I keep telling the seniors that I meet that you must put down your stories, because it's important for us to hear and learn, and it's important for others.
That's how we learn the stories,
right? So this whole business of how to anticipate what a judge wants. Samir Davar will tell you a story. We are standing outside Justice Chandrachud's court in the Supreme Court in court 14-15, right towards the end. We're about to enter the courtroom, and I asked him, I said, Davar, what is that page where this clause is? And he gives me some 324 or whatever. I walk in, Justice Chandrachud's first question, where is this clause? And I don't have to look at my paper book. I look at him and I say, page 324. Oh, wow. And he thinks I've read my paper book completely.
And you're like on
yes,
top of
right?
it.
So I've given a story about Mr. Nariman, who asked us for some information and we thought it was irrelevant. And 3 days into the hearing, Justice Kapadia asked for 2 of those 3 bits, seemingly irrelevant. But then, I mean, that's genius. There is no other... who thinks that, in a SEBI takeover code matter, some stupid statistic is relevant?
Because I think they know the judge so well that they know how the brain works.
So, Mr. Dwarkadas's example was that of Mr. Nariman saying some Goa litigation, and Mr. Nariman's only question was, how many trees have you planted? And these guys are all saying it's not relevant. This not relevant was exactly what my solicitor was trying to tell Mr. Nariman when he asked for those 2 bits of information. And we all got shouted at. You think I'm a bloody idiot, whatever. So... And I believe they stand up and the court says, how many trees have you planted? And Mr. Nariman says 30,000 trees, and the matter ends there. So I'm telling you, so
it's some other level.
Yeah. So and it comes with experience, but it also comes with being willing to sit there and watch and understand how people think, behave, and react. Right. So It's that that's the beauty of the law. I mean, you learn every day and you can keep learning and it's the only profession that allows you to die with your boots on.
Yeah.
So if you stop learning, then you're dead anyways.
No, absolutely. There's no retirement age to the profession. So here's what I want to ask you, sir, before we go to the rapid fire round. You've seen the Indian legal system evolve from what it was late 90s to having commercial courts, etc. What's your real wish as a practitioner, as a lawyer, as also somewhere an audience of that system? What should change in your lifetime, in my lifetime?
We should be able to give a client the ability to say, if your case is listed on this date, it will get heard on that date definitively, and you will get a judgment within X time of that date happening. I think that, and I mean, I'm
I think
hopeful that
very
we will
well
see it
put,
in our
sir.
lifetime. I mean, and a part of it is, I think we are responsible. We have to be responsible about it. The number of times I walked into a court to bat a point which is absolutely unnecessary, to now reaching a place where I tell myself, okay, I'll make the point, but I'll tell a judge that maybe, I'm making it because I don't want to be seen as giving it up. Also, it's unreal, right? Because and I faced this recently in one litigation where I didn't make a point because I felt it was absolutely a waste of time. And but then the court records that nothing else has been argued, and I've got a judgment on the one point that I thought I had a point, and I believe we do, and we've now in the Supreme Court on that. But now I fear that the Supreme Court, they will be told, just in case the Supreme Court's not buying it, saying nothing else was argued. Right? So do I want to put all my eggs in one basket? I mean, ideally, in an ideal world, I should.
Strategically, no.
Right? But strategically, no. And because you and I have seen enough times that we thought that this was the point that will win us our case, and
it just
something
happened to
completely
be-
random,
Yeah.
right? So that's the client's kismat, and that is where I think we have to evolve a little. The other thing is, if there was certainty in the law and we didn't have these constant changes on the same proposition so periodically, it would be so much easier for us to advise a client saying, not worth your while. It's already settled. Nobody's going to reopen it. But if a client knows that, 3 judges can go to 5, 5 can go to 7, 7 go to 9, and it can get reopened in a curative, then why not? I mean, then everybody says take a chance. It's that same principle of why does everybody file SLPs? You never know. Kahan tukka lag jaye. So that's the sad story. It has to start from the top and it has to work downwards. And hopefully, I'm reasonably confident at least some of it will trickle down in the next decade or so.
What about, sir, like having a cost deterrent in filing, like at the threshold itself?
At the filing, I feel it's tricky. I mean, in a country like ours, but for corporates, why not? At least start implementing it in commercial matters. I mean, if it is a commercial matter, it's, it should be good for your money. If you're asking a PIL litigant to disclose that or to state on oath that he or she has the means to meet the cost that the court will incur. Here, anyway, court fees is a deterrent. But make security for costs. I mean, you have a provision for that. So put that down. Suddenly you realize that, flippant cases stop coming in. People have to think twice before putting up that additional performance bank guarantee for a case.
Costs, in fact, sir, both on the plaintiff or the defendant or petitioner.
No, absolutely. No. I mean, why not first the plaintiff? Because it's he is the one who initiates the process. So if you put your money where your mouth is, then you will be a little more careful, no? So, and then you realize there will be some distillation, and lawyers are also forced to kind of think it through and come up with cases and make cases which really matter. Not like the old style Delhi High Court where everything was HUF and you got a status quo order on day one, and then for the next 20 years you argued a matter, and then only to be asked the fundamental question at final hearing saying where is the basic pleading and zero hai. So it works both ways, and I think that's something that we'll see as we go along. I believe that that's something that will happen.
We've spoken about skill set, we've spoken about the training, and I know your focus is also on becoming a better human being. Somewhere, at least I feel that. So this is the moment I would want to invite you to tell maybe your juniors, maybe my team members will benefit. What is that quality that as a human being, besides court craft, they should also cultivate?
The Constitution says it, no? Be the best version of yourself. I mean, you're supposed to be somebody who has to step up to help every fellow citizen. It doesn't mean anything here. Just be good. I think my only lesson in life has always been, and that's something that has been drilled into my head, किसी का भला कर नहीं पाओ मत करना, बुरा मत करना, right? But किसी का भला कर सकते हो, obviously, by all means, go ahead and do it. That's it.
You won't believe the synchronicity of this, Raj sir. Just in the previous episode, which is going to come with Mr. Suresh Prabhu, he said the exact same words.
Really?
He said, and I quote that, कभी किसी का नुकसान नहीं करना. He put it the other way. He said, आप किसी की help कर सकते हो करो, but अगर आप help नहीं कर सकते तो किसी का नुकसान जरूर.
Absolutely, I think that's it. And so, I mean, yesterday, we're getting out of the Delhi High Court on the way to the Oberoi wala, that road, Zakir Hussain Marg, and Pramod Bhaiya, my driver, is parked on the left lane. The man behind me is honking. And I'm telling Pramod Bhaiya, I said, why are you in the left lane? Right? You have to go straight. Right? Why do we have to hear the honk? We are in the wrong. And in another universe, you would have been told to take a left turn, right? In another country, you would have, but he's not listening. And he's a man who, if he drops me home at 3 in the morning and I say, Pramod bhaiya 4:30 baje nikalna hai savere, he will be at my door at 4:25. Okay.
Phenomenal.
So I'm blessed to be surrounded by people like this. Ramesh at home, same thing. I mean, but there is this, and I keep telling him, हम वकील हैं, अगर हम ये करते रहेंगे तो बाकी लोग हम क्या समझाएंगे? Right? So there is no what's it called? It's a simple rule. Just be good and do good. The rest, and even then, more often than not, होता नहीं है. I mean, but at least don't do बुरा. That's all. तो गांधी जी वाले 3 बंदर वाली बात ना, बुरा मत सुनो, बुरा मत देखो, बुरा मत कहो, बुरा मत कहो, right? बुरा मत करो. बाकी सब will sort itself out.
With all the ups and downs, the sacrifices, the exciting matters that you've done, here's my final question. Has the journey been worth it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, would I trade some of it with more time with my family, more time with my kids? Perhaps yes. Would I have wanted to be there at some school play? Yes. But I don't think I would have been able to give them everything that I've been able to give them but for this. So I think it's been a beautiful journey, and I think they understand, fortunately. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Now, because it's beyond Billables, what is life like beyond law? What is it that you want to do?
Oh, so much more. I told Sapna this morning, I have decided I will at least read 2 books before December ends. Okay. So
one can be the one that I give you.
No, but I think because I've stopped reading. I mean, I read so much that I don't want to read anymore, right? But I think that's stupid, because the whole point of being a lawyer is to be able to see other things and bring that to bear in your day-to-day work. To spend more time on my photography, to learn it as a craft. I mean, I'm an amateur photographer, right? I'm self-taught. I want to understand the technicalities of it. I want to learn the nuances of it. I want to learn to play an instrument. Got a whole bunch of stuff, and I have so many more places to visit and travel. So enough to do. And I think now kids are gone. We have time. She and I are trying to rediscover ourselves. So,
that's amazing. That's really good, sir. So we can do the rapid fire. You know the rules. Whatever comes the top of your mind.
Like that.
I would like to give you this label that you're the king of impromptu puns. What's your favorite one?
Sanuki.
Sanuki.
So I'll give you context. So I was before Justice Jasmeet. I mean, really not my favorite one. I think the most recent one. So it's easy to remember. I have too many otherwise. I was before Justice Jasmeet Singh, and I was appearing for the petitioner. We got a receiver appointed. So he was looking for somebody to appoint, and Tushar Sanu was sitting on the other side. So he looks at him and says, Tushar, you'll be receiver? He says, yes, my lord. He looks at me and says, how much? So I said, I'll leave it to your lordship. He looks at Tushar and says, 1.5. So I said, my lord, why is your lordship asking him? So suddenly Justice Jasmeet Singh is looking at me saying, physically, I mean, why you? I said, he'll say Sanuki. So that is what. So I was very proud of myself. I'm sure there are better ones, but there.
One underrated quality of a young lawyer.
Resilience.
And one overrated.
Ability to remember case names.
Wow.
I think people spend too much time mugging up cases and saying and rattling off cases. That's why I said, please read that article by Mr. Khambata. Mr. Chagla, I believe, was not somebody who was known to rattle off cases. But he knew the law. He knew where to find it. And I think he knew how to articulate it inside a courtroom. I think that's a lot more important in today's day in particular, because so much case law being,
and you can easily fish it out.
No, you can fish it out. But I mean, there is just a profusion of case law, and somewhere along the way, I think it creates more complications than it does that serves the purpose. It was easier, and which is why I'm saying, first principles, always good. But you don't have to know the name of a case to be able to, you don't have to be able to rattle it off just then. It's not a skill of it's not a sign of how great a lawyer you are.
One judge that you learned the most from?
Actually, too many, but I mean, I see Justice Sikri in various avatars, right? High Court judge. He was responsible for dismissing my first civil suit at an appellate level. I learned that one must always be prompt and therefore on time and deliver. I've seen him over the years. Shabina Abraham, he was on the bench. But I think I've seen him a lot more closely after his retirement. And I marvel at the width and the breadth and the depth of his abilities.
Wow.
He's unflappable. You saw that AI thing. He's probably more clued in on technology than I can ever hope to be. He can speak at a lecture, do 5 arbitrations in a day, and still be the same man and have a quiet, calm
and composed.
Absolutely. So it's incredible. I mean, a whole bunch of others. I mean, Justice Endlaw, I think he's literally made sure that I found my feet in the Delhi High Court. Justice Shakhtar, who taught me, that lawyers have to have a heart and have to be able to. Justice Sanghi, again, Justice Palli for just being so steadfast. Justice Jasmeet Singh for, being able to maintain the same level of equanimity from beginning till end and being able to crack a joke at 5 p.m. Justice Badar Ahmad. I can go on and on and on. Supreme Court, Justice Nariman for being tough judge. Justice Rumapal, I remember her very fondly. Justice Barucha, so many to name. But and I think it's a rapid fire and I'm just rambling on. But
you are rapidly firing.
Yeah. But I think too many of them. They've all had their own ways. And I think a lot of them continue to do so. Justice Mukta Gupta, for instance. I mean, I have seen that lady as standing counsel with a limited team do 50-70 matters by herself a day, come back fully on the ball with Parliament Act, be in court the whole day next day. And then you see these people, then you ask yourself, yaar, tum kya kar rahe ho? Kuch bhi nahi ho.
Insanely hardworking people.
Yeah. And people who've just done it on their own terms. So I think there's a lot to be learned and a lot to be said for a lot of them and their sacrifices, which are often unspoken of, are not spoken of enough. But I think all of them in their own ways have told us that the law can be a beautiful space, right? And at the end of the day, it is what you make of it. And you make of it. It has nothing to do with your friend, your neighbor, your best friend, your senior, your junior. It is what you make of it.
One habit that has helped you build your career?
Hard work. I believe I'm not the smartest guy in town, but I know I can work harder than most. So I will just pull my head down and keep working. I can do that.
One habit that you are wanting to build now?
Discipline. I'm horrible. I still feel like I said time management. I still need to structure my day. I wish I could think a lot more clearly. I want to learn to say no a lot more. I want to learn to exercise. You go to the gym every day. I don't. So there.
One last question for the viewers. If you were talking to the 22-year-old Raj's younger version, who's now wanting to get their feet dirty into litigation, or wet is the better word, what would you tell them? No advice, but just your thoughts.
Just chill. Rest will take care of itself. You have faith in yourself. I don't think you have to think so much. Just do what you're doing and do it the way you're doing or you were meant to do. The rest will all figure itself out. I remember this is the conversation I was having with my folks when, Sapna and I were to get married. I was only 26 and I was like, 26 too early. And they're like, yeah, this is a good time. Shadi kar le. I said, but I make like 1/5 what she makes. How will we manage? He says, sab ho jata hai. Kar lo. And that's been my attitude in life, I think. Chalta hai, sab ho jayega.
Everything will work out on its own.
Yeah. I think the universe has a plan. So I firmly believe that you are never put in a space by the universe unless it has a plan for you. So if you are there and you feel the chips are down, because something better has to happen later. And I give that example about my kidney problem. I would not be sitting here talking to you, but for that fateful day when I was diagnosed with nephrotic syndrome. But for that, I wouldn't have gone to Delhi. I wouldn't have chased doctors. I wouldn't have gone to Bangalore. If I hadn't gone to Bangalore, I wouldn't have gone to Secunderabad. If I hadn't gone to Secunderabad, I wouldn't have heard of the National Law School. If I hadn't heard of the National Law School, I may not have met Sapna. I may not have been a lawyer. I may not be here. What are the odds? I wanted to be a pediatric neurosurgeon.
Connecting everything backwards and...
No, I wanted to be a pediatric neurosurgeon. I didn't even know what that meant. It's like me wanting to be an do arbitration when in my 3rd year in law school. I had no idea what it meant. It just sounded cool. But मुँह से निकल गया. Right? So I think the universe is, at least I keep telling people, the universe has a plan for me. And I think I've tried not to fight it as much as I can. very rarely have I fought it, and I've realized that it's not worth it. I mean, just chal de, jo chal raha hai, chal
Going
raha
with
hai.
the universe's
So
flow.
that's why I said. So the question
better.
is, there was a time when people say, why haven't you applied for designation? जब होना है होगा, right? When will you move to the Supreme Court? जब होना है होगा. एक दिन पता नहीं दिमाग में कुछ बत्ती ऐसे चलेगी, बस आगे बढ़ो.
I have
Very simple.
thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, Raj sir, and thank you for making the time. I know I've been pursuing you
No,
for
thank
a while.
you. I'm sorry. I was telling my kids, I said I've fobbed him off for 3 months now. It would be criminal not to finish it today.
One of my qualities I get from my parents, I never give up. So,
No, it's a great quality. I think I try and imbibe that in some of the things that I do. But like I said, I can never say no. I struggle. I'm still learning that art. But then it's very difficult to say no to you. So, but like I said, I mean, this. I've seen a few snippets of your previous episodes, and I just feel that what you've done is fantastic because again, it's a leap of faith.
it's a big leap of faith for me.
And I think the thought is all that counts. It doesn't matter where it ends up, it'll find its space. Right? For me, it was about coming, spending time with you, and in a sense, again, reliving my journey, because I've realized that the more often that I do this, I go back and I rectify some of the mistakes I think I'm making.
Wow.
So thank you very much for
It's a beautiful way of looking at
helping me
No, sir. I think
revisit my errors and giving me a chance to fix them. Some I can't fix. I mean, I can't take back the time that I've given off. I might deprive my family of, but I try now. So
No, I think speaking for myself, you're a gem of a person, and you've just thrown a lot of light on today's podcast, and I wish you all the success.
And all the light that is falling on my face is looking me fair. My mama, just look at me. I'm now fair. This is the joke that is the family joke that my mother thinks I'm fairer than Sapna. So it's called Maa Ka Andha Pyar.
Thank you all. This was Just Us Beyond Billables with Raj sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rohan.
And thank you again for
pleasure.
coming. Absolute pleasure as well.
Thanks.
Thank you.